supermarkets in the city of Detroit. 7! 7! Come on now. Come on now. The people right now got to stand up. Y'all been sitting here way too long. There are elected officials. There were 200 elected officials that have taken a class to learn about emergency management and to learn how to become an emergency manager. Outside of the 100 that were already trained before the law even passed. Michigan State, they did a great law handbook on it. You can go and look on the internet. Look it up. It only costs you $175 to take the class. But you're in control of millions. A 2-day class, $175, that's real job creation, isn't it? But once again, where's the shared sacrifice, Governor Granholm? I'm sorry. I can count all of them to this. Granholm, England, and Snyder. That's right. Where's the jobs? Let's set this state back on course. I don't even want to preach to you anymore about emergency management. Let's get this state back on course by repealing Public Act 4, getting the 161,304 signatures that are needed, and send it right back up to Lansing and say, we're going to talk to you in November. This is our tool right now, today, to send a message to our legislature and say, hold on, wait. You got us all messed up. We sent you there for jobs and for a better state, not for you to sell the rest of what's left to China, to Canada, or whomever else is buying. This isn't about wage trim. This is about Michigan. So between now and September, let's put the fire under our community. Because I'm done preaching to the choir. I know this is the choir right here. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. Y'all been got it. Y'all sat here for an hour and a half already. But give it to those Republicans, those ultra conservatives, those non-voters, the people disengaged, and say, wait. We will take control of our city and our state right now by signing this petition to repeal Public Act 4. We don't want emergency management. The real emergency is in Lansing, not here at home. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Jessup. Thank you very much. Now, the attack on the emergency manager law takes several formats. We got the petitions out in the lobby, and I think we're going to have a training session a little later today, this evening. Is that correct? I'm not sure the detail, but I thought I heard that earlier. At any rate, I want to turn to one other question that deals with one other line of attack here. There's a significant lawsuit taking place raising legal constitutional issues about the emergency manager law, and my colleague and friend Paul Jordan from Mott College has been part of that, a plaintiff in that case. And Paul, I'd like to invite you to say a few words about that and then have the panel respond to the lawsuit in some ways.
Thank you very, very much. This is an extremely important effort that you're participating in today. You're participating in nothing less than the protection and preservation of democracy. A week and a half before the anniversary of our nation's independence, a group of 28 people, including me, and also Mary Ann Lee from Genesee County, filed suit in Ingham County Circuit Court against the governor and the state treasurer, Andy Dillon, asserting that Public Act 4, the emergency manager law, violated the Michigan Constitution in a number of very important aspects. Now, I don't know how many of you have read the Michigan Constitution, but I guess it's an effective document, but it doesn't sing in many places. There are two sections, however, that I think are surprisingly eloquent, and they're the first two sections in the law. Article 1, Section 1 states in its entirety, all political power is inherent in the people. Government is instituted for their equal benefit, security, and protection. Section 2 of Article 1 goes on to say, no person shall be denied the equal protection of the laws, nor shall any person be denied the enjoyment of his civil or political rights. Nor shall any person be denied the enjoyment of his civil or political rights. And what have we heard today but denial of political rights and denial that all political power is inherent in the people? Now, our lawsuit is, I hope, going to become unnecessary, because you're all going to go out and you're going to get signatures on petitions. You're going to bring them back, and in November, the people will get to express their will regarding this law. And I hope our lawsuit becomes moot. But in case it doesn't, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the grounds for the lawsuit, what we're alleging. And there are really 5 grounds. One is that Public Act 4 delegates legislative authority to the executive branch because the emergency financial managers are part of the executive branch of government. And the Constitution does not allow the governor or his subordinates to make law. And yet Public Act 4 would empower the emergency manager to do just that. The second complaint is that the legislature, through Public Act 4, delegates to the emergency manager powers it doesn't possess in itself to enact local ordinances. There are provisions in the Constitution for the legislature, by a 2/3 majority, to enact local laws. But that's a 2/3 majority, and that power belongs to the legislature, not an emergency manager. The third grounds, and I think we're getting here to the heart of the matter, is that Public Act 4 denies the right of residents to form their own charter of government. The Constitution gives to the people the right to establish their local governments, establishing a charter to define what that local government will be. The emergency manager can take that and tear it up, that charter. Do whatever he wishes, shape that local government like a piece of clay to fit his or her image of what it should be. The fourth area of complaint is that it violates a constitutional right to a Republican form of government and the right to elect our local officials. Now, folks I heard somebody who was quoted as an expert, a law professor, say that, well, there wasn't that right in the Constitution. But it seems to me that if we have political rights and if political power is inherent in the people, we have the right to a Republican form of government. Finally, we contend that Public Act 4 violates the Headley Amendment. You've heard many anecdotes about how an emergency manager can decide his own salary, contract with whomever he chooses or whatever firms he chooses, and all of these people are going to be paid whatever the state treasurer and the emergency financial manager think is appropriate. In addition, should the City Council of Pontiac or Benton Harbor or any official of local government decide that they want to sue, the costs of the state's defense are borne by the local government. They will go against the city and be paid by that city, paid by the emergency manager. And of course, the defense or the prosecution of that lawsuit will also be billed to the city, but guess what? The emergency manager has the right not to pay the bill. What does that do to your right for a redress of grievances? Nothing. Now, the Headley Amendment says that all costs of local government that are imposed by the state beyond a certain date have to be borne by the state. The state has to pay that bill. Now, clearly, the provisions of Public Act 4 violate that. In closing, I'd like to share with you my experience of reading the Declaration of Independence on the 4th of July. I was kind of interested in looking at it and reading it in the context of what we're experiencing right now in Michigan. And do you know, we fit right in there. Unfortunately, what's being done is not being done to us by a foreign power, by some crowned head in London. What's being done to us is being done by a governor in the state of Michigan. Okay. So thank you very much. I wish us all luck.
Thank you, Paul. And I think perhaps on that note, I would certainly like to thank our panel for being here this evening, thank all of you, and turn it over to Bishop Jefferson for some final comments.
First, I want to apologize that if we didn't get to some of the questions that was sent up, but we deemed it necessary and important that those that came in, that you be able to hear them. And I know that what we intended to do was done. We intended to get understanding in a word. I want to thank first Woodside Church for opening up their doors and allowing us to come in and give us a dinner. I want to thank our panelists for agreeing to come. I want to thank Paul Rosicki for coming and being our moderator. He did a wonderful job. Thank you, Brandon Joseph, for taking the time out to study, to show yourself approved, to be able to come up with the repeal so that we know what we need to do to overturn the emergency manager law. Thank you, Representative Woodrow Stanley, for not allowing your voice to be closed, quiet. Thank you. Reverend Pickney of Benton Harbor, I know it seems like an uphill battle, but because when the righteous rule, the people are at peace, and I know they're not at complete peace yet, but we're on our way.
All right.
Councilman Kermit Williams, I know what it is to be hired by the people and not be paid, but our payday is coming. Just keep on speaking. Judy, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out, because we need the labor union. We need the council.
That's right.
Anybody think that we don't need the union? You need to